everyone, it's Justine and welcome to part 2 of the blog hop featuring Die-Namites dies and Suzy stamps. So if you click on the description below, you'll be taken to my blog and you can hop along and check out everyone's projects. We've got the Suzy stamps design team and the Die-Namites die team joining forces and making cards using each other's products. So I'm going to be using the rose leaves die from Die-Namites, and I'm going to be cutting this out on 80-pound Nestler white cardstock. Now, if you missed yesterday's video, which was part 1 of the blog hop, I'll link to that at the end of the video, so don't worry about that. Now, instead of dragging my big shot sort of into the screen, I just die cut this piece here. Now, the rose is really pretty, or the leaves are very pretty rather, rose leaves. Not only do the Die-Namites dies die cut, but they also emboss details into the die cuts, which are really quite beautiful, and they're really great to follow along and create really great accents on the dies. So I'm going to actually be stamping a flower from Suzy Stamps. It's a peony flower. Actually, I'm not using a rose right now. And I'm going to be stamping that using a couple of different inks. And I'm using Suzy Stamps brand new inks, which I'm going to have a video on in the very near future as soon as my last ink arrives, because I wanted to have the entire set to show you. So I'm going to stamp the peony stamp again from Suzy Stamps. I'm using 2 different colors here. I'm using Petunia Pink and Highland Heather, which are absolutely gorgeous colors and work really well together. And I'm doing sort of a rock and roll technique. And what that means is I'm stamping the middle of the stamp in a lighter ink and going along the edges in a darker ink. And you'll see I'm going to be doing a couple of little techniques with this ink here for no particular reason, just to kind of test it out to see what it would look like. So I stamped this once onto my cardstock here, and you can see the actual vibrancy of these colors. They're absolutely gorgeous. But I found I didn't really, for whatever reason, I guess it was my technique that I was using, or maybe the colors are just a little too similar. I didn't really get that light look in the middle and dark. So I decided I wanted to redo the stamping, and how I decided to do that was I used some white pigment ink, made sure I got the dark image around the edges, and just stamped that dark edge around. And I think it looked really quite pretty. So I'm going to do a little bit of manipulating of the die here, and I'm just going to lift it up so that it makes it really 3D and lifelike. So I'm folding along the actual lines that are embossed into the leaves. And I'm going to be gluing my leaves onto my cardstock, and I'm going to be attaching the peony on top with some 3D foam tape. I absolutely love this peony stamp, and I've used it in several different cards, and it just works perfectly with these leaves. I think the leaves are really subtle since I did sort of a tone-on-tone with the white look. You could die cut them in green and have a little extra color. Now I was playing around with my sentiments to see which one I wanted to add, and I decided to add the "You Make Me ... and I actually have a coordinating sentiment that says smile, but there are several coordinating stamp sets that could go with this expression. So this month is a new release for this You Make Me set, and there's You Make Me Smile, which is the one I have. It also has Giddy, Happy, and Gag, for those of you who really like, snarky sentiments, maybe on your Valentine's Day cards or things like that, or any sort of other joke cards that you might want to play in there. It's a really fun sentiment. So I'm just going to clean off my stamp here and then attach. But before I do that, I wanted to add some of my embellishments, some Wink of Stella pen. Once again, I'm doing this really quickly because you can't actually see the sparkle, unfortunately, that's really happening here, unless the light hits it in a certain way. It makes it a really subtle embellishment, but it makes it also really difficult to photograph and videotape. So this is a really great pen to have to add that subtle embellishment, and I used it on day 1's card as well. I'm going to add a couple of small sequins from the ton. These are really, really pale pink, and I absolutely adore them, and I thought they would go really great with this sort of pink card. I think here you can see how really cool it looks with the 2 different shades and the peony flower, as well as that white pigment that's starting to kind of show up through the ink and actually creating its own tone. I really like the way that the flower is stamped out here. I'm going to add some dull pink cardstock from Simon Says Stamp, which I think coordinates really well with the color that it ended up stamping out to. And I'm going to attach this using some Tombow Mono liquid adhesive. Now the card base measures 8.5 by 5.5 inches, scored at 4.25 inches, and so it could fold down to make a top folding landscape card. So this is a really subtle, beautiful card, clean and simple look. I hope you enjoyed this card tutorial today, and you'll check out the blog hop by clicking on the description below. We'll also have links to all the products used, and here's one final look at the card. So if you want to access my blog, go ahead and click up at the top where it says click here to visit. You can click on the right on the subscribe button to subscribe to my channel, or you can click on the moving video if you happen to miss the day one's video for the blog hop to check out a really cool video featuring the wedding doves die. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. See you soon for another video.